Okay, okay, I got the camera sitting there. I think I can show you a little more. I got the tank in here. Got a little plastic bracket here holding it. I've got the wires back on the heating element, and I've got our thermal overload tightened down. And make sure even though there's not much grounding here, make sure you've got your grounding or bonding wire. It ties back with this valve here, and this is a pressure switch. There's another one there, but make sure you've got your bonding wire hooked up. And then when you hook up your elements, you want to reach in there with a pair of pliers after you get it mounted and do your final tightening. See it'll turn an additional 1/2 to 3/4 turn there. Because if you have a loose connection here, this is one of the biggest failures for heating elements in electronic heating appliances is loose connections. And when you have a loose connection, it draws extremely high amperage, causing you to have both higher electric bill, as well as it's going to burn out the terminals here and probably will burn out your heating element. So make sure you've got those things very, very tight, and always use assist with a pair of pliers when you're dealing with the ends there. That way you don't break off your terminals and you get a good solid connection. If your water heater fails to work at all, you might open it up and check this fuse. You can check that with an ohm meter. And I've got one here, and when you run it across there, you should hear that sound from your ohm meter. And always make sure when you're turning your appliance, before you start working on them, you've got your meter handy. You put your meter into the terminals where your wires come in. Make sure you have your voltage is turned on. Okay, you don't want to get assembly is really pretty easy. I just took this plastic valve body that I have here and I put the 2 wires back on it. You push your wires behind here, put it back on your tank, and then you've got some clips. You've got some stainless clips here. You just slide them on. The rubber O-rings is going to be the one that's going to stop the water. And then you slide this other switch in here, and you get another clip. And you slide that clip in there. If you have a little bit of difficulty, that means something may not be right on there. So pull it back out, check it, make sure you're in right. It looks like it's right. And you push it back in. This is really simple work. There's really not much to it, folks. All you got to do is just don't be scared of doing it. Just get in here and start taking it apart. You're probably going to end up buying a new water heater, so why not give it a shot? Tighten it up. Get this one tight. And we'll drop another one in here. We'll put another clip up here. And then what I didn't do here, which is a simple deal, we will attach. You don't have to come all the way out. Attach the other hose on there. This is my first time rebuilding one of these. I've done a lot of commercial boilers, water heaters, booster heaters for dishwashers. Did a lot of stuff with the boilers, big boiler, water generators, steam generators. So I've got a pretty good background in this kind of stuff. This is a little CRT. This monitors the amperage. Not a big deal. Kind of think that's just for the LED when this senses current going through there, the LEDs will kick on up here. So now it's just a matter of putting it back together. Everything is in. Let me see. And of course I have one screw left, and it's going to go here. Tank. The wires are checked. Grounding wires on. The thermal overload wires are done. The wires are okay here. The clips are in. They're in all the way. Voila, we're about done. Okay, one thing I did notice that I had wrong is I had these two little the water inlet and water outlet on backwards. Took this bracket here, flipped it around, and I also went through and made sure I had the rest of these screws tightened up. So make sure it fits, make sure all the parts fit into the case. I was having some difficulty getting the cover on, and that's all it took. I just swapped these two around, tightened that up, everything's fine. So here's for hoping it works out, and we'll talk to you in a minute. I'm going to put this back together. I'm going to put the covers on here, and I'm going to give it a test. But this is how you do a water heater. Okay guys, if you know that you're not getting water pressure out of here, then your problem's probably going to be in your tank. Now you see the lights on, breakers are turned on, the water heater's working fine. Did the finger test a minute ago, the water is hot. And that's more pressure than I've ever seen out of this. Now that tank is probably 15 years old. Check down here, if your water pressure is low, check down here, because you may not be out of water. It may be in that water heating unit. But for me, today was a successful day, and I'm glad I was able to give you another tip with living in the Philippines. I'm always glad to have you guys on the channel. There's no telling what I'm going to be throwing out at you. But when I'm living in the Philippines, I want to share as much of my daily events with you as I can. Thanks for riding along on this trip. Bye-bye.